All right, mic check, mic check, mic check. Should be able to hear, see the screen, all that good stuff there. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. What's going on, Mark? What's happening? Bumblebee Tuna, my man Eric A. In the house, Mr. Blue here, TradePhantoms.com. Let's dive in. Live trade, kind of a live session, if you will, with yours truly, Mr. Blue at TradePhantoms.com. I'm going to spend about an hour, give or take. Go over some pre-market prep, takes us to the open, 9:30 a.m. Eastern, of course, stock market open. And if I see any setups, of course, we'll take them if the setting up is setting up. If the setups are setting up. Today's date, going to be Thursday, July 17th, 2025. Hopefully, everybody's having a good trading week and a good month of July. Summer solace. Markets are moving, doing their thing. Pretty good. Today, on the dock for news, being Thursday, July 17th, 8:30 a.m. Eastern, which was about 20 minutes ago, give or take. We did have some planned economic news, core retail sales, unemployment claims every Thursday, Philly Fed index. And that's already out. Unemployment claims came in lower than expected, right? We had some retail sales jump up. So consumer is healthy, kind of all that good stuff there, right? News is news. Don't get me wrong. I'm not going to turn this into an economic class, Econ 101. But as always, as we say at Phantoms, news is one thing, but how the markets react and respond is another thing, right? So you can have good news, but markets move down. You can have bad news, but markets move up. So as always, you got to make sure that you are analyzing the chart and see how news responds to that. So of course, we're going to get to the charts in a moment. Tomorrow being Friday, we do have prelim consumer and inflation expectations. So that's a thing there. We did have a couple of earnings announcements yesterday, or I should say this morning and or yesterday evening. Earnings are starting to kick up, fire up, I should say. And basically started with banks as usual. JP Morgan kind of kicks that off. What I'm trying to bring up here, which you'll see in a hefty moment, is going to be the earnings kind of calendar for the week, if you will. All right, I'm just going to get a better one here. Don't want to spend too much time on this, but it's worth noting the most anticipated earnings announcements today, or tonight, I should say. Today, of course, being Thursday. All right, so last night we had UAL, American Airlines. I was looking at some of the bigger ones here. Morgan Stanley, Johnson & Johnson. Yesterday before the open, GS, Goldman Sachs, one of my fave, BAC, Bank of America. All right, as you can see, BlackRock, Citigroup, JP Morgan kind of kicked this off, right? The banks, so financial sector. All right. The point that I'm trying to make here is that today, being Thursday, after the close, we do have a big one here, Netflix. That's a bigger mover there. So we can maybe take a peek at that. Travels Insurance, Bancorp. We got PepsiCo that just came up before market open here. So that's pretty much it. Netflix is a decent one to play or potentially play if you wanted to. So that's I might be looking at that a little bit here today. That's pretty much the most for tonight. Interactive brokers, I guess that's okay, but yeah, Netflix earnings tonight, pretty decent deal there. All right, I'll start this off formally here as always. Institutional order flow. Yeah, TSM reported very good earnings. It's kind of pulling up AMD and NVIDIA semiconductors, so pretty good there too, as well. I can get to that chart. That's on my watch list there. I didn't play it. I didn't do that one. I usually kind of wait for a little bit more of the the Mag 7 earnings, which is coming up in a hot couple of weeks here. So I'll get more in tune with earnings as well. I'm going to take a peek at Netflix, though, however, throughout the course of today. Institutional order flow, demand supply, right? Demand supply, backdrop, main strategy of Phantoms, right? Top down, multiple time frame analysis approach. You're going to see a lot of orange, yellows, and blues on my charts. Reason being is I color code certain time frames, mainly the higher time frames. Monthly is going to be orange, yellow is going to be weekly time frame, and then blues are going to be daily time frame. So anything that you see in those colors are these designated time frame. Okay, candlesticks, location being most important. Bunch of fancy names, location and context being most important there. All right, there's candlesticks everywhere. but focusing on the right ones at the right time in the proper location and condition is going to be more critical and important. Bunch of fancy names for bearish candlesticks, of course. These are going to be more at supply in the context of I would like to have look at these at bearish, okay, supply downtrends, lower highs. And then we got the liquidity map. This is super key here. I usually just park that over here to the left. This gets brought up typically once or twice throughout the session, for sure, when we're in the live trade room at Phantoms for multiple hours. All right, let's kick this off. I will start out with futures right now. So the major four indexes. Lone Wrangler on YouTube, A Squared, my man. I see you, brother. Phantom member. A Squared. Yeah, 1 ounce of dairy month has been great. June, July. Been great. I'm happy that you are doing very well. Keep that cumulative curve trickling up and right. So I got the S&P futures upper left, daily time frame, everything across the board here. NASDAQ upper right, Dow Jones lower left, Russell 2000 bottom right. As you can tell, I'm more of an S&P NASDAQ type of trader here. No offense to Dow Jones or small caps. Small caps have been just dead weight for the past couple of years. I do love me some small caps here and there, but not as of late. The party has not begun yet, so it's just still not really doing that much yet. In regard to the S&P right here, right now, S&P futures daily time frame. I'm not going to go too far back here. I've been referencing this 20-period moving average, blah, 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 blah. Okay, how we just been on a nice kind of grind, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. We have some pullbacks, new highs, pullbacks, new highs, so on and so forth. Okay, a couple of short days ago here, just a hot 2 days ago, Monday, essentially, we made a new all-time high in the QQQs, the SPY, the SPX, everything, right? S&P futures, NASDAQ futures, all things across the board here. Trucker Ed, could you point out a fakey breaky when you see one for me? Indeed. I shall try to do that for you, sir. Indeed. I got you covered, Trucker Ed, another Phantom member. Short story long here. Basing for the past 2 weeks. We just been kind of it's a daily time frame here, but we haven't really, we've been trickling higher, trickling lower, trickling higher, trickling lower. This is a nice little base. All right, basing's not bad, right? So the path of least resistance, and I don't mean resistance in terms of like supply resistance level of supply, right? Where you would, right? The path of least resistance meaning like the current, if you will, like the ocean current, right? Going north or going south. Okay, the ocean current is of course heading still north. Okay, so that gradual drift, if you will, of course, during the bull market here, during this basing here, is going to be gradually higher. Even yesterday, okay, we had a nice swipe down yesterday. There was some drama, I guess, across the board between Trump and Powell, all this kind of drama, and rumors about can Trump fire Powell, and we don't really play politics here at Phantoms, okay? We business, trading the markets, okay? Business, right? No opinions, no thoughts, politics, put that at bar, okay? The point that I'm trying to make is that there was some kind of rumor there. I didn't even care about it. Okay, we swiped down into a beautiful level of what's called a demand level and a liquidity sweep in the SPX. There's a positive gamma node. Long story short, in English, what I'm trying to say here is we swiped down. It was pretty fast, okay? But then guess what? 10, 20, 30 minutes later, give or take, guess what? We went right back up, came back to VWAP, mean reverted, and then we kind of closed the green bar, bull up, leaving a tail down here. Okay, I know you can't really see that right now, but when I get to the spot in the SPX, you'll be able to see that a little bit more better. Also, when I drop down to the 60-minute time frame, you'll be able to see that. I know you can't see it right now, so I'm going to drop down to the 60-minute time frame. All I wanted to showcase right here, right now, is that, okay, daily time frame, nice smooth uptrend. This is the last and greatest impulse move right before the 4th of July holiday, okay, in the U.S., and then we've just been kind of basing sideways for that time being. Now, real quick, while I am here, speaking about that, let me go to SPY just really quickly. I'm going to go to a weekly time frame here. Here's why. Indeed, CK Smoke, indeed, took that Tesla long bullish trade planned yesterday, kind of a swing trade in ticker Tesla. And yes, grabbed the 3:30 strike calls for just this Friday. I'll get to that in a moment too as well. So we get like 30 minutes. I got to kind of pick up the speed a little bit here. Okay, so yeah, here's the position here. I got and this little smaller account here, public account, 3:30 strike call, Tesla, Friday expiration. All right, Tesla's gapping up here today. So we talked about that in the live trade room yesterday, right? So you CK Smoke, indeed, brother, indeed. Weekly time frame of SPY on the left. Now, why am I cross-referencing the SPY on the left, ETF and the S&P futures on the right? Just because it's a little bit more cleaner, okay? Because of all these lines here, but I don't want to erase my notes. However, if you look at, here's a weekly time frame of SPY, okay? Here's this week's candle here today. It's going to be slightly gapping up here today. I'm going to go to the daily, but I went to the weekly right now just to show you that 2 weeks ago, we had a weekly high here, and we had a weekly low here, okay? And then the following week, which was last week, okay, we poked out a quick little new high right there. We didn't make a new low or anything like that, but we basically closed inside of the prior week's high and low. So this is basically like an inside week. Poked this little head out there really quickly for a short time last week, but we basically closed inside. So inside week. Now this week, right now, it being soon to be opening Thursday morning, 9:30 a.m. Eastern for today. We're halfway through the week now. As you can see, we opened here. We swiped down yesterday really quickly, and I was just referencing that we had this last week's low, okay, that we had on the dock here in a weekly VWAP along with a G trap on the S&P futures where we swiped down here. So again, this is what I'm talking about, where we swiped down very quickly yesterday, okay, but we came and retested essentially last week's low, okay, and then buyers picked it right back up, and we closed green bar yesterday, closed on dailies, as you can see right here on the daily time frame on the S&P futures. Okay, so the point that I'm trying to make here is you see this sideways daily, red bar here, green bar here, red bar here, green bar here, base. We're right now on a kind of 2.5 week, give or take, sideways consolidation here. However, being Thursday, path of least resistance, as I'm mentioning right now, you can see futures are up. Okay, we could pop out into a quick little new high. We already made a new high this week. Okay, we kind of gapped up one of the days there on Tuesday when I was live on YouTube, and I faded that down. You can watch that recording. That was on Tuesday. Blah, 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 right? So here we are now here today, right? So again, I just want to showcase that weekly, okay, coming off this impulse move. We're on a sideways base right now for the past, say week and a half, 2 weeks, give or take, okay? And base potentially break higher, potentially coming in here today, okay? So we'll see about that. NASDAQ futures, same thing. I'll spare some time here, 9:02 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, so 28 minutes before the market open. We got a lot of things to cover. Okay, so again, rising 20 period moving average, higher, low, higher, low. Great, yeah, we have some pullbacks, reaching some demand, positive COGs, new high. As you can see, the NASDAQ futures up 0.34%. Okay, made new all-time highs on Monday, a short hop Monday ago, or Tuesday, I should say. Yeah, that was Tuesday. Okay, where I shorted the S&Ps up there. Okay, but then been getting long. As you can see, we've just been pulling back into demand, and we're gradually drifting higher again in, say, the NASDAQ futures. Switch over to the monthly, weekly, daily here. Charts are beautiful. No, my charts are ugly right now. By the way, Pinsky, my man, future legend, already a legend. Dylan, my man, Phantom member, awesome Phantom member, smart kid. Real quick, this has nothing to do with what we should be talking about, but I had to waste a little bit of time this morning because the VWAPs are regarding the charts. All my VWAPs got I don't know what happened, but I got the Bollinger Band lines on my VWAP. So there's a bunch of weird lines that are around my VWAPs on the standard deviations. So I have to take those off. So my charts are a little bit more ugly right there, but on some tickers. But I cleaned up SPY, SPX, and QQQs for the group today. But it's just taking me time to go through each VWAP and taking this off. I don't know. My settings might have got messed up for some of my VWAPs. Anyways, probably shouldn't have wasted time on that, but you will see a couple of lines that are just really weird. When I get to these actual individual tickers, I'll just tell you kind of what to ignore. Ignore the little green lines here. I know it's kind of annoying. But I woke up this morning and opened up this trading view here, and all my settings are kind of weird on my VWAPs. So the deviation bands got put on all my VWAPs. So I had to go and change all that. So it's kind of annoying. Anyways, let's drop down. I got monthly here, weekly here, daily here. Okay, I'm not the only one. Todd from TradePhantoms as well. Yeah, I think it was my fault because I think when I originally first did these settings and I saved some templates on these, I kept this on, but then I unchecked it from here on the style. So I think it's my fault. So I think on the inputs, when you're doing your VWAPs, make sure that this is unchecked and then save that template, right? So I still have this checked on, but then I checked these Bollinger Bands off, or not Bollinger Bands, but these deviation bands off on this here. They must have did a system update. So if you have this input checked on, even if you have this checked off, this clicks it still on apparently, where in the past I think you could have got away with unchecking it all through here, which I did on all my VWAPs, which is annoying right now because if I just did this, I wouldn't have to worry about doing all of that. Okay. So anyways, yeah, kind of annoying. Don't want to waste time on it right now. Had to waste already about almost 25 minutes this morning cleaning up some SPX spies and Qs and a couple other tickers down here. But yeah, kind of annoying. So it's good to note that I'm not the only one, but yeah, I got some additional kind of stupid work to do on behalf of TradingView. I'll get back on track. We've got monthly, weekly, daily here. Yeah, I'm going to go do the whole thing. I had to do it anyways, Todd. I had to go like update my VWAP because I wanted to, my VWAP settings, because I wanted to default the to the high-low open close divided by 4. It's not much of a difference between high-low close divided by 3, but I wanted to update these templates anyways and do high-low close divided by 4. So it's going to force me to kind of go in and redo all my templates, which is something I needed to do anyways. So it's forcing me to do it, which is good. Indeed. Thank you, sir, for the update on that. So I got monthly, weekly, daily here. I got a 60-minute time frame here, upper left. All right, 60-minute upper left here. 30-minute bottom left. 5-minute here, followed by the 2-minute on the hard right edge here. Pop open the 60-minute time frame. And before I kind of go into this, just really briefly, so here's the 1 hour time frame S&P futures. Gray space over here to the right is going to be the overnight session, futures trade overnight. And here's our Globex high yesterday. Here's our Globex low yesterday. So as you can see, we broke this Globex low yesterday. And there's something called a Milo cookie sweep. We broke this Globex low yesterday. And what I was mentioning was that we had this. So we had a couple levels down here, 62, 67, okay, down in here, which was still inside what's called the Globex high, Globex low. And it was aggressive, right? Because this level has been tested like multiple times over here to the left, right? This is yesterday's price action here, okay? And so you see we tested this level multiple times, blah, blah, blah. Okay, we swept that even on even one day here, and we came back up. Then yesterday we swiped and we broke the Globex low, and we finally went through this level that was not great to begin with. Well, at first it started off pretty decent. First test, second, third test. It's like the fourth, fifth test here. So we swiped below that. We came below this 62.46, which was last week's low in the S&P futures. Okay. And we swiped that really quick, and it dropped very, 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 very quickly. And that was what's called a Globex trap. We have a Globex low, and then we have a liquidity sweep. We do have a level of demand right here to the left too that was mapped up. So long story short is the setup for what's called a Globex trap, which I'm going to do now today, doing today's action, is breaking the Globex low and essentially trapping people who are doing the wrong thing at the wrong time in the wrong context. So as prices are coming down, move very, 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 very fast. Some drama between Jay Powell and Donald Trump made the market drop very quickly. Emotion, right? People getting emotional. Anybody who sold short and chased that price lower down into a level of demand, breaking lows, Globex low into a level of demand, okay, got demolished. Okay, now the team was Phantoms. We were looking to get bullish down here. Okay, some people grab some futures down here. Some people grab some SPX, some SPYs, so on and so forth. You can sell some credit spreads, get bullish down here. Okay, and first and foremost, we were even short as well. It was kind of a weird trade. Some people maybe have held some short. Some people maybe got stopped out. Okay, but we'd be taking some profit on shorts, and then we reversed long down here for what's called a G trap bullish, trapping people who are shorting. Okay, at demand in the context of an uptrend. Boom. There goes a sweep below last week's low, putting a wick down there. See you gone, closed on highs. Okay, so super important there. That was yesterday's price action. Okay, so today here's the new Globex low. Globex low is fancy word for overnight low. That's that right there. Okay, here's the Globex high right here now. As you can see, we just put in a new high right now. So this is the we're on the Globex. We just put in the Globex high about a couple minutes ago, right? So there's the high, there's the low. Looking for an institutional level of demand below the Globex low. As you can see yesterday, if I look down and left, all of this wick right here basically swiped out everything below everything here, right? Which was noted yesterday in the event that would happen. So fresh demand is not going to be until lower down in here. Okay, fresh demand. So basically breaking below yesterday's low, and the S&P futures is going to be what, 6241 handle, give or take 6241. Okay, that would be where you get some fresh, kind of quote unquote fresher demand, as the markets even yesterday proved. Okay, we swiped below this demand that's got tested multiple times, came down, okay, into another level, kind of touching this level in control here that we've been talking about, swiped, and then we're back up. So not sure if we're going to get back low down there again today. Probably need some kind of catalyst, right? Trump saying some weird stuff, give or take, for that to potentially happen. We got a little bit of that yesterday. Not sure if we're going to get that today. But that's kind of what we're looking at, okay? The level, if you will, is going to be about the 62, call it the 62.35, 62.25, okay? And there's another little sneaky liquidity sweep right below the 62.20 as well. So basically 62, call it 35 to 20, about a 15-point area here, give or take, where in the event that we did happen to swipe below there again today, that could be another pickup in terms of G-trap longs. Okay, of course, if bullish, if we had to get down there, I would say, okay, what's going on from here until there, and are we short coming down in that level? TP first and foremost, and then you'd flip long, G-trap long. Not sure if that's going to happen though. Now, the Globex low is right here. If I look below the Globex low and I look down and left to be a little more aggressive, we do have a little bit of a level. This is a really ugly level yesterday, because yesterday was kind of choppy in the morning there. We swiped out and then we came back up. So if you want to be a little bit more aggressive with this, you could potentially use this area right below that Globex low, that blue line right there. And this level here comes in at about very ugly level. So I'm almost don't even want to bring this up. But this level here, call it 6278, could be a little something there in regard to an aggressive G-trap long there for today. Okay, be careful with that. I can also just kind of keep this line here as well, even though it's sifted through that. Okay, kind of a key level here, 62.65 as well. All right, now remember that yesterday's wick kind of sifted through all of that. Okay, so I'll keep these lines here aggressive notation, which is super important there. All right, so that could be kind of on the dock here today. All right, here's comp price here, right? So we did just put in a decent little, I get the VWAP line here, okay, 20 EMA, 50 EMA, right, trading above that, kind of getting some alignment here to the upside pre-market, okay? So again, yeah, S&P's been in a range, as I've been talking about, right? So range. Again, you can't get so, I've been telling the team, be careful with these swipe downs. People are like, hey, man, look at the swipe down. Look at S&P's, man, just swipe down. Be careful with that, because in a bull market, we swipe down, break some weekly, daily lows, etc. Maybe sift below a demand zone, stop some people out real quick, doink, and then we come back up. Okay, so a bull market at some point, yes, we're going to have some fall through lower. All right, but right now we got VIX low, we got markets fairly healthy at the moment, very complacent. I will say markets are very complacent with all the things in the backdrop. Indeed, okay, complacent meaning like not pricing in some risk right now. And when something does pop and happen, okay, things could potentially change. But right now, kind of calm waters, if you will. Trade the tape, right, which is price action. Globex high here, all-time highs, 6343 up there. Be careful shorting all-time highs. That could easily pop out in a quick little new high right there. Okay, and recently over the past 2 weeks, because of this range, it's been only popping maybe a couple of points on a new high, and then we've been kind of grinding and fading lower. Okay, but just be careful with this long base. The longer that this base is, the more it kind of like coils up and steams up. Think of a water boiling kettle, or a kettle of water boiling, right? And then when that steam just keeps building, and then it pops, right? So just be careful. Okay, all these all-time highs coming off this base here. If this really wants to pop, it could take a couple of handles higher, and that's the challenge with shorting all-time highs, is where you're going to put your stop loss, right? Either you play it real tight, it's going to work out, or you just get stopped out real tight because this thing is no supply to the upper left; it's in the abyss. However, we do have a little bit of a level of supply above this Globex high here today. Be extremely careful with this. We mapped this out yesterday. Here's the Globex high. If I look up and left, okay, there's only 2 levels of supply. The all-time high, which is right there, and then we have this drop, this basing, and this drop. Has a very small time frame. I went to a 5-minute time frame, so be extremely careful with this. Super aggressive. Okay, 6.220, 6.230 here, up here. Be careful of liquidity sweep right below here. They can easily just stop these people out right here at the 62.30s, give or take, right? Stop people out and then go on a mean revert. Okay, so you'd almost want to put your entry. Okay, I train my traders in here to understand liquidity sweeping, and you almost want to, especially in a bull market. You might not even want to take this, but you could even just maybe put your your entry where you know that people would have their stop losses here. For a G-trap short. All right, again, be extremely careful with that trade if you were planning to do that. We're in a bull market. NASDAQ futures. I'll go through this one a bit more quicker, or at least I would like to. Again, just marking out key levels here. Globex low, hit that level there. Yesterday, swipe below Globex low, came down into an area of level of demand, holding up range. Doink. Okay, already kind of covered that in the S&P futures. Here's the new Globex low here today. Here's the Globex high here today. All right, there goes that level. I almost don't even want to put that on the board anymore. Be extremely careful. All-time highs right here, NASDAQ futures. So I'm not even going to put. Be extremely careful with that there, right? Globex, break the Globex low. You have level demand. Again, this is all wick right here. It's sifted through that. So again, I'll still keep that on the board here, aka 22,925. Okay. And then, of course, the 22,825 down here, okay, in the event that we were to potentially break that Globex low, okay? Right now, this level, I'd be extremely careful with that. Let me see if I can break this down into a small, it's all wick, folks. It's all wick. So I probably want to update this, maybe lower, get down to the lower extreme range. So update this to 22,875 here. More extreme low of the range. Still aggressive. There we go. Gold. I feel so bad. Yesterday, I had a member look at a beautiful level on gold up here. And I mentioned, be careful because that daily candle looked like it was about to close a beautiful daily positive COG, but then we just slammed right back down. So gold has been in a I know Mark, my man Mark Wahlberg and Phantoms is he's like, so many lines I can't even see, man. He's right? I got all these notes here, but I got monthly, weekly, daily. Gold has still been kind of just joshing back and forth here inside of a mother bar weekly range for about 2-3 weeks now. Okay, so monthly, weekly, daily is still up. Okay, but this is more of a range condition right now in the monthly, weekly, daily. So as you can see, like this is more low range on the weeklies down in here. Okay, this is a little bit more of the upper range, at least as it stands for right now on this basing, right? And so we're just kind of going back and forth in between demand and supply. So just make sure that you're not really diddling in the middle, if you will, of this mid-range here. So that's the challenge here. Yesterday we had a spike up in this area. Had a member KK, as I call him, in Phantoms, talking about the 3380 to potentially get short. Kind of talked them out of it, which I'm not too happy about, and it would have worked beautifully, right? So range condition, you could just continue to kind of, if long, TP, take profit on upper ranges, okay? If short, if you happen to be short, okay, TP at bottom of the ranges, okay? And I'm going to be leaning more bullish, of course, on gold as we get lower down into the range. I'm more inclined to be getting more accumulation on longs, okay, at areas of levels of demand to accumulate into the longer term, higher time frame trend being up. Okay, so if I look at the Globex high, Globex low here today, okay, if I look down and left, okay, here we are. We got a little level here. This is a little bit more mid-range. It could kind of work out. These levels here in the middle is still okay, but just be careful with this mid-range. You might want to get down lower into the extreme. So today I kind of keep on the board 32.90 for gold futures, and then especially 32.70s down in here in regard to gold futures. Again, lower the range would be a bit more better down here. Look at track your dailies, your monthly, weeklies, and dailies, highs and lows, of course, and look out for those liquidity sweeps. On GLD, which is the ETF for gold, I'm still being a bit more patient with it. I almost took a position on it yesterday. I had Tesla and GLD on the board yesterday, but I wanted to see that green bar close a little bit more dominant here with a positive COG. GLD here got weekly on the left, time frame, daily on the right, but didn't really unravel the way that I wanted it to for the entry, because we had this green bar up here, but it came right all the way back down and did not close at positive COG. Okay, and so these were the two that were on the dock yesterday, GLD and Tesla, just kind of like for a swing trade for the remainder of the week when we in the live trade room yesterday. Tesla, on the other hand, was and indeed was holding its bullish bar for the positive COG. So I ended up getting in Tesla as opposed to GLD long call. Okay, just because of the market was telling me what to kind of do, right? Gold didn't really unravel the way that it needed to for me to take that entry. Okay, in terms of GLD for the swing trade. All right, so that's gold. Let me go straight to VIX just really quickly. Yeah, Kasim. Yeah, Kasim. I don't know how to say his name, so I call him KK to not butcher his name. Mike Jameson, my man's in the house. Money Mike. Tessie. I hope you're on Tesla, brother. Let's see. So we got VIX. VIX kind of up slightly, 0.17%. VIX up, market down. VIX down, market up. Inverse correlation, a lot more to that. The volatility index of the S&P 500, 30 days out. But I'm going to map this out on the high time. So real quick, you see yesterday we had a big spike in VIX real quick. We're like, whoa, what's going on? It was that big drop, right? And then it came into some key levels there, and then the VIX, right? So big drop happened fast, and then VIX just faded right back down, and markets just unraveled their bullish tone, right? So there's the inverse correlation today, a little bit more quiet overnight. So there's the overnight high in VIX, here's the overnight low in VIX. And I kind of just mapped this out, meaning like, okay, if we take out the overnight high and we continue to go higher, okay, or spike higher, that could be a bit more bearish for the market, right? Yesterday in the morning, it was all bearish until we had that flush swipe down into those levels that I was just talking about this morning, okay? If we go lower on VIX, okay, and sustain that lowerness, okay, that could be a bit more bullish for the market, right? Walk up for the market price action. I just kind of map out where I last saw it, so I can see where the changes have been since I last saw. Okay, we got SPYs. Let me check crude oil G-trap on crude. Oil has been, I love trading oil, but I haven't really been trading a lot of oil lately, focusing more on gold. Global high, global low. Could be a decent little G-trap here. Monthly, weekly, daily. Just get these like spikes. Below 20. Tough spot. This could be a little bit of a G-trap short here. The weekly time frame is a little odd, but there's some flip here. That could be a bit of a G-trap short. Do not put your stop loss right above this level. You get stopped out, so you kind of want to give yourself some wiggle room here. So be entering up into this level. Decent little G-trap long. I mean, I'm short. There's the global low. This would be demand. It's been tested a couple times. There's a global low here. So unorganized, but decent little something there. So it could be a G-trap short, G-trap long here. Watch out for a liquidity sweep right below here. Don't put your stop loss right below that level. Very rangy. So yeah, be the liquidity on the outer skirts of this range. SPYs. Give a decent amount of breathing room. Look for a swipe. So SPYs, got a weekly on the left, daily on the right. Kind of already talked a little bit about this, right? Blah, 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 right? The inside wars. Okay, yesterday, again, we opened here, right? And that's the thing, like this is this is a bearish engulfing, all of that, right? But bull market, right? So, yesterday, we gapped up a little bit there. We swiped lower, came into last week's low, blah, 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 talked a little bit about that, swoop, all back up. So it's opened here, came all the way back down there. Buyers picked it back up. Hammer bar closed yesterday, right? So you have some selling pressure here. Just, probably just taking profits, people just liquidating, right? Some short-term day traders coming in, right? This is where we shorted on Tuesday, right? Right, faded that lower. And then we on the other end of this around here, swipe down lower, got long, bullish candle here, right? Not a positive COG or anything like that, but we're gapping up slightly. So that this hammer bar could be a little bit of a catapult here in the event that this market potentially wants to continue its up grind, right? So we're only up about 0.10%. SPX cash index implied open, give or take, probably give or take 62.70 handle, give or take, right? So if I go over here, this is what's called options depth. This is a heavy topic here, but a couple key things here. If we are opening up at or around 6270, give or take, it's going to be around here. And the one thing I want to, opening up 6270 here, this is what's called a market maker exposure, super advanced here. But since we're opening up at or around the 6270 handle, if we were to go lower a little bit here, we have a little bit of negative gaps. But if we go lower, you see this little blue-green node right here. Okay, that is going to be the 6260, where market makers have what's called bought gamma. It's like a bought puts, bought calls here. Bought gamma. This is a big node here. Okay, so if prices come down into the 6260, okay, this could be used as some kind of demand / support, if you will, as we get down here, right? Another thing to note worthy too as well is we have 6220. Yesterday we had a 6225 big gamma node. Now today we have a 6220 gamma node as well. Okay, this is more of what's called negative gaps. We have to get through all of this positive gamma, I should say, gamma as well to be able to get down there. Okay, but two key levels here right now that I'm looking at: 6260. Okay, small one here, 6250, and then we got another big one down here, 6220. This is a negative gamma node. This is a positive gamma node. So as prices come down into these levels, okay, in SPX, that could be used as some kind of demand / support, if you will. If I look up and left, okay, there's some negative gaps up here, and there's some trows where market makers have more what's called sold options, okay? And if that were to come up and continue to rally, okay, this is sold calls, market makers would have to buy up into that. So it's going to be pretty interesting. We have some demand below, okay, and we have some fluff above. So path of least resistance. Now this can change off the open. Would be a bit more to the bullish side, okay? So 6260, want to map that out. I'll put up 6250 on SPX as well. So these are just two kind of in regard to gamma. Decent gamma node here. So 60 and kind of annoying how I'm out of time to go over everything I want to go over as the markets are about to open. In regard to, market just opened, right? Let's see. Switch this to a daily. Switch this to a 2. All right. Let's see. Microsoft off open. Microsoft off open. Interesting. Tesla already on call. Let's see how this unravels. Get a quick peek at internals really briefly. Advanced declines, kind of flat. All right. All right, let's see here. Microsoft out the gate looking juicy. Nothing really to stop this coming out of the nice little pullback yesterday. Let's see, HWM. Meta not following through. I got my eye on Meta. First swing. Let's see. HMU. Nice alignment. Want to wait how that closes. Be patient. Tesla's doing something here. Microsoft. All right, so be patient, folks. Let me bring this back up over here. $60. So SPX has this gamma, this positive gamma right below it at 60. So be careful here. Support of lower AD improving a bit here. Microsoft inside of its wide range bar off the 2-minute time frame. This is annoying. see. Nothing's really popping off the list here. Eyeing that spot. Netflix pulled back into some weeklies inside bar, just sleeping a little bit before calm before the storm, if you will, before earnings tonight. Almost got to lean more bullish on that. Almost have to. So these spies are looking a little interesting here, but they're just still embasing. Amazon breaking down a little bit. So Fang a little heavy. IWM. Small caps, IWM is the only one that's kind of following through so far this morning off its hammer, off yesterday's hammer. IWM. So small caps already kind of breaking out a bit there. All right, don't like that wick on Microsoft there on the five-minute opening print there, but keep an eye on this because we got this here. I think about if you were long, right? You're like, oh, we'll pull back. We got to sift through this. So keep an eye on this, right? It could still form a potential setup. Okay. Spot is trying to break out here a bit. The VIX is kind of calm. Advanced declines improving. That positive gamma node right below the S&P. Right, we can still potentially clip down into the 60 handle, but yeah, that level right there, that 6260, that positive gamma node is right there, and it's helping being a kind of at least for right now, a very small level of kind of demand support, if you will. Let's see. A lot of small opening ranges here. JP Morgan, decent for even off the 20 here. Even if we don't come lower into this weekly, anybody front side entering into JP Morgan here today? They already had their earnings. This might not be too bad to take for a bit of a swing on the morgues. Microsoft could be setting up Visa. Monthly we swept here, nailed that area here, came back. So yeah, Visa's trying to gather itself back. We've been inside. See how we've been, when I see this, right, we have been inside this bar. We have a breakdown here a little bit, then we've been inside bar for a couple days, right? Does that make sense? Now, if you get a positive COG, green bar taking this mother bar out back above the rising 20, could that be a nice little trigger there for a swing? For day trade, we're still inside bar, right? See how that's a high, that's a low? Inside bar. So the setup is less reliable, right? So yeah, okay, maybe the 2-minute gave me a picture that looks like this, right? Above the 20, above VWAP, all that great stuff. Don't get me wrong, right? But is this a wide range bar on the 2-minute time frame, which is a very small time frame? But we've been inside bar for 1, 2, 3. This potentially could be the 5th day if we remain in that, right? Does that make sense? So, you just got to be aware of that on the bigger time frame. That's all. And you got to get long JP Morgan, not only for the day SPYs, just clip new high. You almost might want to work on some JP Morgan for a swing as well, in addition to maybe even like a day trade just here for today. SPYs pop out. Broadcom. SPY call. Just pick up at the money, 625s here, long call, SPYs. It's already popping. It should already be up about like 20% there. SPY call 625. Should have just hit this before I went to the other ticker. All good. SPY long call here. So the call premium for that SPY. Nope. This is. All right, I can either TP some already here on this. Quick little scalp off the open here. Could have probably got these for like $1. Microsoft, JP Morgan. Microsoft just took off. Can't believe I just missed that entry. I've been missing Microsoft lately. Fuck. Oops, excuse my language. I'm on YouTube. Anybody snag my MSFTE? JP Morgan. Microsoft, Broadcom, Microsoft, and Broadcom looking good. Let's TP some more SPYs on this high. New highs on SPYs. Microsoft was a pretty easy play. TP some SPYs here. Tesla pushing back. All right, if long Microsoft, I would suggest to TP. That was such an easy setup there. TP some new all-time high here. TP Timmy longs. new ATH, new all-time high today in Microsoft. What an easy play. Follow COG right there. Bing. Let's see. Broadcom. Man, really, you look at some pullback orders on Microsoft here. These standard deviation bids are so annoying right now. Tesla's it's setting up. Not sure if we're going to get it, but this could be almost potentially setting up for a potential ad here. Tesla long call. If that develops a little bit more better there. Man, Microsoft was such an easy play. No. JP Morgan as well. Off the open. Let's see. IWM2. If you snag that, make sure you TP some there on that. Microsoft still not over yet. We could try to. I'm not chasing into new highs on all-time highs. No way. No way. There was the entry right there. Wide range bar. You could have entered there, pulled back on us, and then another entry right there as we start to break that Pollard COG there. But we can still work on this on a pullback entry here. So what are you trading? 509? Be 507. If I go to Microsoft, usually I like to get that first initial push there. That's the best one. That first push. Sure, what 508. So if I were to pick up, say, say maybe the 510s, or maybe even the 507 half, but we would have to pull back to the 507 half. Those would be at the money. Let me see what these could potentially be priced at. SPY's trickling, flirting with a new high. So here's the 507 half Microsoft long call, right? So this would probably be at around the one that I'd already be. This should already be like in at around here, like 220s into 320, 330s, 320s there for a quick smooth buck. If we're to wait for a pullback order, here's VWAP on the premium chart. So we could potentially wait for a pullback here on this if we get that, right? You could put in a bid here on the 507 half strike call on MSFT ticker. If we get like a pullback into VWAP here, you can maybe put that into like maybe 235 in terms of premium price. Okay, and I'll be waiting for a pullback to get, because we missed it, right? I missed it. So being patient, right? SPY's new highs, TP. And so I got to order. I got to take profit on SPY's, y'all. But I got this order here, 235 in terms of premium limit order. Okay, so I have to pull back and fill us. Okay, at the 507 half strike. All right, TP some SPY's. We just have a nice clip higher on it. All right. Broadcom new high. That might have just been the easiest SPY trade I ever took in my life. Not really. But I missed AVG on Microsoft. Amazon being creepy, a creepy, sneaky setup. JP Morgan new high. IWM pump it. Fuck Microsoft. Broadcom. Missing some easy setups there. Easy setup. Amazon. Nice. Amazon. We have negative BX above. Just make sure you're working on pullbacks. Don't chase. TP. Nice spy call. Thank you, Blue. Yeah. No problem. Nice smooth trade. Man, Fang is trying to hold some bids, man. You got some big tickers. Broadcom, Microsoft, NVIDIA trying to also play ball, man. This thing's looking like it's gonna piss up today. See ya. The vid. NVIDIA all-time high TP some there if you got that. JP Morgs. NVIDIA popping off their all-time highs in the abyss. Microsoft, same spies cranking here. Let's TP some of that more. All things being equal, maybe setting up to be a little bit of a trend day. Got mega cap being okay. It's only really Microsoft, Broadcom, and the vid. But those are big boys. TP some spies. Distributing because on pullbacks, we want to reaccumulate. Easy setups right here. See ya. Keep an eye on Tesla there. And NVIDIA, Microsoft, and AVGO. Easy setup this morning. Let's see if we can get this pullback on SPYs now. Nice pump. Nice pump scheme. And Microsoft just took off. Those options were probably up like 100% almost there from 2 to 4s. I see JP Morgan. Oh, grab a quick swing trade on the morgue. J. Pierpont, 295. JP Morgan above 300, next pump, all-time highs. Maybe. Not bad, 237, 235. Single leg call for August, you like 29 days. If it's going to go, it's going to go. If not, Broadcom, why? The most simplest setup on the planet. God's gift that I didn't even unwrap. Messing around with crude oil, man. Forget crude. The vid MSFT, Broadcom's ripping. That bar's nuts on JP. That bar's nuts. Yeah, don't chase. Morning rush pump here, right? So for JP Morgan, you can get a pullback, right? So make sure you don't get too far away from VWAP right there. So get some time on that, right? Don't get emotional. You can't get emotional. You gotta stay strong with your logic and emotion. That's the most challenging part of trading. Chart's pretty simple, man. All right. Yeah, I should have definitely been. I'm a little bit more aggressive in the live trade room. When I do stuff on like YouTube, I'd be a little careful. I don't know who's creepily watching, so I'm a little bit more conservative on when I'm doing like social media. But definitely some nice easy setups here today on a couple of tickers. I can't believe I didn't pull trigger on Microsoft. It's kind of annoying. And now every new high is going to heck and poke your emotion, like Broadcom, just new pop high right there, right? It's going to annoy you, right? It's going to try to sucker you in to buy that high, and it's going to dump, and there goes your correction, right? And you bought the high, and now you're getting corrected on, and then you got to stop out. Then you get your VWAP test, and you get stopped out, and then you could have got in on VWAP. It's a whole thing. I already know, what kind of happens to, traders, people. So that new high tag on Broadcom is put a little salt. It's not a wound, but don't get yourself into a wound and chase it. That it dumps on you. just for intraday pullback. Damn, Broadcom off the mat. See ya. I should be fired. Coin creep. If you don't have the same size account as you, would you be TPing the same way? Yeah, it's. I know it's kind of annoying when you only like maybe trading like one contract or two contracts. SPY positive COG here. Nvidia new high. Holy smokes! Microsoft, this is all pumping here. All right. Come on, there's one. I'm going to pull back orders on SPYs. I have to roll these. I'll do the 622s. Sorry, the 626 strike. I'm still long the other one, but this is going to be what's called a roll, where I'm still in the others, but I'm going to roll my delta. Right, I'm still in the 625. But I'm going to get in on the 626 strike. You know, VIX on lows, Polar COG. 5-minute Polar COG will be better on this. Coinbase creep. This is a weird aggressive supply area. So pull the trigger on these. All right, so I just got long the 626 strike call on SPYs. I'm even going to put in a pullback order here too on this to add, call it about like 87 cents, give or take around here. Okay, VWAP. All right, still long the other ones. This is an add. I'm rolling my delta. Here's the concept that I speak a little bit about during the live classes. Grab this in this account over here. You can see the team in the chat. We got some Phantoms members in here. They know the deal, so they're putting in the chat. Tesla creeping. Tesla creep. Come on, why is everything so like slow and delayed here today? Computer. Come on, computer. Tesla trying to build here. I like that wick flush. Potential retest failure to make A equal to or new low. Back above the 20 to 200. Right here, long Tesla. I'm going to add to this. You can see I'm already in the 330 strike from yesterday. It's basically at my average fill price of where I basically got in yesterday. So if you wanted to add into Tesla, this is the 330. We're trading 323. What delta is this at the moment? Wanted to check that. $24 delta, not bad. Not bad. So I'm going to add to this, okay? I'm adding to Tesla. All right. We spoke about this yesterday in Phantoms. All right, added to this. Too slow today with some of the setups. Oh, coin was an easy. Coin was an easy play. The good news on that, I got that in my long-term portfolio, so go up. Mark Wahlberg coin, brother. Indeed. Indeed, indeed, indeed. And outside of two STDs on the monthly and weekly, I had to take some profit on my long-term portfolio on coin. Just a little bit, shave out some, right? Coin hood. So TP right now on coin on this little pop high, I would suggest. Oh man, I'm too slow today, man. I wish I was kind of in the trade room with Phantoms today. Hopefully tomorrow's like this, the open. But what classic setup here. Basically 30-minute time inside, right? Inside open, whatever, swipe right into the rising 20, rising 50, kind of like buy zone into like demand. This is a fakey breaky. Somebody asked me earlier today, can I pinpoint a fakey breaky right there? Right. So here's one bar here. All right. Yesterday's closed and we opened here. This opened here. It swiped. This was when it started inside bar. It swiped. Okay. Came right back. It was right as it was going to break lower. Came right back. Hammer. Right. Boom. Polar COG. So this equals this. So I love these because this is my favorite setup. Why? Because I know that people are trapped. And typically when people are trapped on the wrong side, that's how you know you're about to get the move, because they are wrong on the other side. And when they are wrong, like for example, somebody on God's green earth today sold short Coinbase down here. There has to be somebody there, right? Because the transaction, right? So think about the person who's selling short at a drop in the context of a massive uptrend in a, albeit not even the greatest level of demand, but at around yesterday's low, in between the rising 20, rising 50, which is a buy zone here, which on top of a demand and supply. Somebody sold short down into here thinking that it's going to go down. Okay, they swipe right, red bar. This was once a red bar. So right back up, boom, and then now anybody who did short, and believe me, there's a ton of people that try to short this thing, and whatever, right? I don't even want to waste time on that, right? Not the members of Phantoms, that's for sure. We're taking advantage of that, right? And then if anybody who did short, what do they have to do to get out? They have to buy to cover. So if anybody who's short and on the wrong side, eventually they have to admit defeat, buy to cover, while all professional traders are going to be looking to do what? Buy, okay, buy to enter, okay, because we're in the context of an uptrend, and it came down when it mean revert, okay, and then buy to enters, buy to cover, it's going up, buy to enters, more demand, boop, pop new high. All right, shorts are like, no, why is this thing? I thought it was going down, and the red bar off the open, it was coming down as a trap. So inside bar on the 30-minute time frame, fakey breaky there. You want an illustration? Now, this didn't happen yet. So just blank that out for a moment. So you have a level of demand. There's daily VWAP. There's 20 EMA, what have you. Higher, higher, low, higher, higher, low. Market's pulling down, 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 down. Red bar, red bar, red bar. Right. This is demand. Okay. And then I'll fill this in. We come down, down, and then this is the red bar here, right? Let's just say another red bar here. Okay. Now we could have another inside bar potentially here, right? And we have like, let's just say we have like an inside bar. Now it could be a green bar here, green bar there. The point that I'm trying to make here is, let's just say, here's what's called in order to have a fakey breaky, you need to have, and remember, you want to look at this in the proper location, right? The reason why that fakey breaky was so beautiful is because it was at a nice proper location on the intermediate pullback on the 60 and 30-minute time frame, in the context of a monthly, weekly, daily, up. Okay, so pullback. This is beautiful. This is what's called the inside bar, right? Or you have what's called a mother bar, where these two didn't happen yet. Okay, so focus on the purple. Okay, then we have an inside bar, and then we have a bar that kind of like opens here. Okay, opens inside, and then it swipes. Right, this was once a red bar, sifting out some demand. Right, sifting out some more demand here. Traps people, comes back up, fakey breaky, and it left a hammer wick there on the inside bar setup. Okay, and this is how many of y'all potentially got like stopped out of a trade. Maybe you were bullish, got stopped out of a trade first, and then did some liquidity, and then it went in your favor. Okay, so this is one of my favorite setups because I know that people are trapped. People who are selling short bearish probably looking at small time frames. Okay, not looking at the bigger picture. All right. So people who are sold short level demand because they're looking at recency bias of like, oh, it's been going down for the past 2 days down in here. Okay, great. It's down on a 60-minute time frame or a 30-minute time frame. Not looking left in the higher time frame daily, right? Daily, you got a 60-minute demand level coming up here, right? So on and so forth. Okay, trapped, and then also potentially some liquidity sweeping stop losses because let's say somebody did get long at this demand zone right in here. Right, it's kind of floating in, floating out, floating in, floating out, floating in. You get your stop loss tight, right below the demand level, real quick. Then they come, whoop, stop out real quick, and then they take it. So this is that trapped / liquidity sweeping that most people are victims of, in which I try my best to allow my members, because I worked on Wall Street, to not be a victim of this and be a beneficiary of this. Okay, proper stock. Coinbase, holy shit. Wow. All right, super important there. All right, the team got my back. Told me to TP Tesla, which they are indeed correct. Hopefully, I'll TP some of that. They are correct on that. Oh my God. All right, AVGO's at its VWAP. Microsoft also at its VWAP. Not at its VWAP, I don't think, is it? Not quite. SPY's calmed down a little bit. Still looking good here daily. So 30-minute bar is in, wide range bar, so pullback phase. Stage right now. Back on VWAP. VIX on an uptick, not trying to oversell that, but it's on a little bit of an uptick. So pull back on SPYs into VWAP here. Tesla's not quite breaking down just yet. Get the monthly, get the weekly, get the daily. I've been talking about how it's mid-range here. Not the greatest location in the world here on the monthly and the weekly. Daily gave us a nice little positive COG here off the 20. That's why I liked it here. So still looking good here. But, intraday, right now, essentially this setup here is, kind of all started out last week off, outside gap up, belt hold bar off the 200 flat 200 period moving average here, right? So it's more of a carryover here. So the point that I'm trying to make here is that, check this out. So, and I'm not saying this to be a prick or anything like that, but let me mention that Tesla breaking down. But check this out, right? So like we're trying to get this. So we're trying to have this set up, which isn't the greatest. Again, location's not super great. Got the monthly over here, great. Now this is the wide range bar off the 200 period moving average here last week. And I was screaming about this last week. And I'm like, I don't care. I gotta take this setup. Blah 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 blah. So I'm working on some Tesla here, right? And yesterday we had a positive COG, right? So this is the setup bar yesterday's close. Now stick with me. So I'm going off the whole basis and thesis of we should be able, hopefully to try to, not hopefully, but probability wise, where this positive COG should be able to carry through after getting hit the ball off this bell hold right here, right? So we'll see that right now. If I go to a small time frame, right? Somebody had mentioned Tesla breaking down. Now, be careful with that, because if you're looking at a 2-minute time frame, it may seem like, Tesla's done for, Tesla's done for, Tesla's done for, right? Does that make sense? However, if I'm looking even at like the intermediate time frame, if I'm looking at the intermediate time frame, are we still in a higher high, higher low sequence, even on an intermediate time frame, albeit I'm on a 61-hour time frame right now, which is a small time frame. So if I kind of put these lines in different colors so it kind of sticks out. Do it pink, why not? All right, here's current price, right? Yesterday we took a clip up, right? Reverse engineering trend. That preceded this. Oh, missed one. So as is an awkward silence here. Did Tesla break? It broke down like a small time frame, but did it do any damage on the daily time frame? In other words, did we like break below yesterday's low? No, right? Did it even break a 60-minute higher high, higher low structure at all? Yes or no? Right? And I'm not trying to be weird here, Daniel, right? Daniel. But be careful when you're looking at the very, very, very small time frames. That's a classic retail trader's biggest mistake. Now, I am here trading off the 2-minute time frame, so on and so forth, but am I looking at the higher time frame dynamic and bigger picture as well, and the intermediate time frame being like the 30-minute to 60-minute, 4-hour, maybe some Phantoms members will potentially use. Okay. So over here, right, it even dropped a little bit, but we couldn't even break like this little baby demand zone. Now, eventually we could, if we come back down here, that trade might be a bit more cooked, right? But in the option world, right, I'm buying the options for like what, $1, it's added to $1.20. So, I'm taking minimized risk. I'm going to be risking $1.20 for Tesla. Okay. If this doesn't work out by tomorrow, because we don't get a pop and continuation here, I'm going to lose $1.20 on it. Right. Does that make sense? So even if like we did happen to like drop a little more lower, all right, I might like recalibrate the trade or maybe realign it if I still like it. Okay. And again, all this being said is this is not even great in terms of a location of where we're at, the bigger picture here. Okay. So that's super important there. So yeah, on the small time frame, kind of like broke down a little bit, but even on the 60-minute time frame right here, this is a quick little new high right here. This is what's called the level in control on the intermediate time frame. All right, so Tesla's really not going to break down on the monthly, weekly structure unless we would come down, probably test this area here, probably get a little bit of a bounce, and then snap lower, right? Does that make sense? In other words, we could live in a parallel universe that looks like this, bounce, and I cringe when I see people drawing all these lines like going forward, like this is going to happen exactly like this. It's like, what? Chill. What are you talking about? You're in like segments over here next month. Like, you don't know what that's going to happen next week, right? But you just take it step by step, impulse, right? If we were to correct this area here, this is going to be battle tested here, okay? And Tesla would be breaking down. If we battle tested this area here on the intermediate time frame, try to attempt to back up, and then it's got swiped lower down here, okay? So on an intraday basis, for the swing trade for going off the monthly, weekly, daily here, okay? And in fact, this is a positive COG setup, so I can't even really stop loss, okay? If I'm doing for a swing trade, the reason to be in the trade is this positive COG. So this is the setup bar. So my stop would have to be either below here or below that pivot that I created, which is going to be right there, which would be below the level in control. Does that make sense? For a swing. So really, your stop loss need to be placed in proper locations where it violates the set up. If you don't know where you're violated for the setup to be wrong, why are you even entering a trade if you don't know where to be wrong? Why are you in your car if you don't have a destination? Are you taking a cruise, late night cruise? That's cool. I like to do that sometimes too. But usually I'll say like, oh, I want to go down this road here. It's a nice, quiet road. You still have some kind of destination, some kind of thesis, right? So like, why are you going to trade if you have no idea where you're proven wrong and where you're going to be taking profit targets out? All right. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. All right. Spies pulled back my ad here. I'm not managing this, which I should. Microsoft just pulled into its VWAP. Somebody had mentioned looking good there. And this thing's already taking off. I'm not sure how much juice this has. Left, but I just have to do the 5/10s here for $2.08. The second time around's not always the greatest. So there goes Tesla there. Right, we just kind of talked a little bit about that. Right. Here's Microsoft, the missed trade. That's going to be too deep and steep there. So if I'm going to roll this, I'm already a little bit too late to this one as well. That's why sometimes answering questions is all good. And it's already popped here too. Damn. I hate to chase, but this is Microsoft long call, 5/10 strike. Somebody called this out at VWAP. Good job. So I'm late. I'm going to be late on this. Nice. So somebody called this out while I was TED talking. Do you see why I'm late a little bit there? Beautiful. Somebody called this out. Good job. Doink. The 210 strike on MSFT at that VWAP, going for about $1.70, $1.80, give or take. Just popped up to 230. So that was a quick little good job, folks. Right? Good job. So that should be a TP. Do you see how I got in when this should be already a T? You should be in here, TP a little bit here to protect. I'm getting in late. Does that make sense? All right, spies. NVIDIA 2 trying to reset up there. Broadcom as well, in addition. Yeah, Jace. To be more safer, lower probability to get stopped out, it would be wider, and you'd put it below the zone. Or if you're doing the COG out of that, you could put it below the setup bar or the pivot that it creates inside of the zone. So I've been doing a lot of teaching, which is not typically ideal, and I'm missing a couple of trades, but it's all good. I control the mic, so I'm not making. It's my fault. But So instead of entering, say, like right here on the front side, you wait for a positive COG backside. Now, if you got in here, that's your stop loss would be wider, right? Than if you entered here, right? Okay. So the most people think that having a tight stop is lower risk. It's typically not the case, because sometimes you have tight stops, you get nicked out of really good trades too prematurely, right? So the better, right? So there's like a pull and tug always, right? So the wider, the wider that you are, the more that is, of course, position size, you can position size accordingly, right? But yes, this is a wider zone, so you might have to do smaller size, but it also does kind of change your 1-to-1, right? TP, like the 1-to-1, 2-to-1, so on and so forth, right? Because 3-to-1, because the wider the zone that you have, right? The more that we need to move in your favor for a 1-to-1, 2-to-1, so on and so forth, right? So it's kind of that balance there. So this is going to be the higher probability where you're going to get, even if you entered on the backside and you put your stop loss below the actual level, which is going to be the most conservative that you can be, because it has less probability of you getting stopped out the least, but right. But you're taking on a little bit more a wider zone for that, okay? But you have a super less probability for you getting stopped out, okay, for a wrong trade. Now, if you just went front side in here, entry, exit, entry, stop loss there, that's just basic, right? And that's fine, okay? Or the other way is if you entered, say, on the backside right here, okay, you could potentially put your stop loss below, okay? Because in order for it to be a positive COG, it would have to have left a pivot, right? So if you enter on that positive COG and you want to reduce a little bit of risk, okay, you can put it below, okay, the pivot that it put in inside of this level, and typically there'll be like a wick there, or even if there was a wick even like right there, okay, there's the positive COG. I'll be putting my stop loss below that setup bar, okay, because that is going to be below that pivot that it just created, and this is going to be with the probability, and of course, if hopefully we'd get some fall through to hit our objective targets, right? If the wick was, say, if this wick was longer, like this, okay, then I'll be putting my stop loss below that, because that is essentially what the pivot that put in after this positive COG now got printed, right? Does that make sense? So that would reduce potentially your loss versus from here to here. Okay, does that make sense? All right, Microsoft late entry is up. So make sure you TP. I am not taking credit for anything today. Y'all are 10 times better than myself here today, which is good. I don't care about myself. I care more about other people. All right, TP some Microsoft. Missed the first entry. That's my bad. Shout out to the Phantom member who called out a perfect re-add into Microsoft at VWAP, my man. TP some of that too. Microsoft. What? I didn't even get in this account. There you go. I'm going to unload some more Microsoft. Be patient, be patient, be patient, be patient. Pull back. into a short time frame demand level, rising 20, VWAP right there, positive COG. Y'all get it? TP. All right, unload some more MSFT here, if you got it. Yeah, no problem, Jace. Mark asks, Mr. Bill, what do you do when you make a month's salary? Bad things, Mark. Come out on a Friday night, have some beers with me, and find out. I put some cash away for some bail money. That's what I do. I make a year salary in 5 minutes. MSFT new high. Let's go. TP that, folks. All right, beautiful. So, lesson of the day, right? Wide range bar, set up, pulled back a little bit, pulled back, missed this entry, sat through it like, no, miss. Be patient. Don't chase. Don't be your old self. Chase. Wait for the pullback into an impulse, basing impulse, VWAP, white dash line, pullback, red bar, rising 20, above everything is above 20 EMA, this, right? Stars are aligned, moons are aligned, Saturn's rings are aligned and ringing up, okay? Green bar, take out red bar in the proper location after the pullback. This would be front side, this would be back side. We just talked about this with Jace. Jace like, man, if I go out in positive COG right here and I put my stop loss below that demand level, that's wide. Okay, we got a positive COG here. There goes the lowest pivot. Can reduce that a little bit there. Bing, in. Okay, stop loss here. Is it going to fall through? Yes. TP. If no, you get stopped out. All right. And people that are at Phantoms get trained up called this out. I sucked today. Leaving beautiful setups on the table. All right, so just slow today. I don't know. There's no excuse for that. I'm just, I don't know. Nothing to say. Didn't pull triggers. Got to pull triggers. All right, grab a little bit there. All right, you can see SPY's having a trouble there. So make sure you're reducing some Microsoft. Kind of turning into a little bit of a chop day here. So unfortunately, a little bit of a chop here. First 30-minute bar print right here and here, inside 30-minute bar here. So it's typically not ideal. You don't want to see fall through on bars. So be patient and diligent. So I rolled my delta on SPYs. So we're kind of just, we're still healthy, I guess, in a way, right? So we just this again, last week's range, high, low. We talked about that pre-market prep, right? Hammer bar here, right? Engulfing bar 2 days ago, hammer bar here. So we're just in the middle, kind of in the middle here, battling it out. All right. So was the SPY COG correct with VWAP just below the 20? What VWAP CK Smoke? Bucket Netflix earnings. I'm leaning a little bit more bearish. I'm sorry, bullish on Netflix. I typically go into it looking at what the setup is to be on the chart itself. So because because we pulled back, we're on an inside week for like 2 weeks now. There's a little bit of a pullback here. So, but we're closer to demand than we are supply on this. So I'm leaning a little bit more bullish. We have an inside day. It's just been kind of parked here, clocking time before earnings here. So I'm leaning a little bit more bullish on this. I mean, I work on it now. Netflix is a monster. It's a beast, $1,300 stock. So you want to make sure that you're controlling your risk. I might be doing some spreads on option spreads, like looking at maybe like a bought debit, somewhere up here in the event that we do kind of. I think the implied move on Netflix, I think about like 7%, give or take, earnings wise. Make sure you TP Microsoft at that new high there. Yeah, so about 89 points above, 89 points below for an implied move. We'll see. Netflix is up there. Bought Strangle, we'll be buying an at-the-money call, buying the at-the-money put. Don't care which side. They pay if it moves really big and you get it at a low volatility Vegas. So I would not do this Friday's expiration, meaning tomorrow. They report tonight, so because you're going to get an IV crush on that, implied vol crush. I see this 138 implied vol. Normalizes like 35.40. So this is about what, almost 3 times implied vol up, 2 times more volatility up. So that means TP Microsoft. So I would not be buying the straddle or strangle on the July 18th because you're gonna get a volatility drop down. But I'm probably looking at. I might just do like a 5-10 wide spread. Yeah, if I am going to buy the straddle or strangle, I'd go to the 25th because you'd have lower implied vol exposure. Indeed, there'll be a IV crush tomorrow on these, but a lot less dramatic than the 134 because these 134 implied vol tomorrow. That just means the options prices are high. So if you're buying a call and you're buying a put straddle, the one guarantee that you're going to get tomorrow, and there's no guarantees in trading and investing, but the one guarantee that you get in trading and investing is post earnings. Get 99.9% of the time post earnings, the implied volatility is going to drop because all this earnings stuff, right? Earnings stocks can gap up or down by 10, 20, 30%, give or take, right? I don't want to be dramatic, but that could be the case. Gap up, gap down. Sometimes a company could be really good earnings and a stock gaps down. Sometimes it could miss earnings, not have great, but it got gaps up. So it's always kind of a 50-50 play in a way, even if it's a quote unquote great company, because something that's been said on the conference call. It's about future expectations, right? Oh, this quarter is good, but next quarter we got tariffs. And now Netflix is not really gonna have to deal with tariffs, right? But this session is gonna be, we got the tariffs happening right now, kicking in August and all this kind of stuff. So I think there's a poly market bet of how times is tariffs going to be said on these earnings announcements on a couple of these stocks. But the point that I'm trying to make here is, yes, if you're doing a straddle or strangle, make sure you're not buying that July 18th. You're going to get IV drops. That's a guarantee. So the implied volatility, right? The build up before earnings, people want to hedge. People want to speculate and trade. People who own Netflix might want to buy some protective puts in the event that it gaps down by 20% tomorrow morning. Okay, so they're buying protective puts, long stock to protect their portfolio of Netflix long shares. Okay, so everybody kind of floods into options for many different reasons, and that flooding into options increases the call put prices because there's more demand for products of options, right? Mark wants to get long Netflix because he has a setup that it might be going bullish, right? That's why he's playing earnings, right? You got Susie, who is long Netflix shares from 5 years ago, that wants to protect, okay, in the event that Netflix drops down by 10-15% tomorrow, right? So she's looking to buy some protective puts, right? All that demand for options drives the implied volatility up, okay, because the expectation of something major may happen, okay, and that brings up the implied vol and options prices up. Then tomorrow, after everything is done, right, earnings are out, you get the verdict, you get the verdict. Okay, now implied volatility just drops back down, and things come more quote unquote more normalized. And then what's Netflix doing, going forward off the open tomorrow morning? All right. But I'm probably most likely going to be landing on as you can see, I'm not so reactive on these on that SPY move down, because I had mentioned, be careful with these drop downs, AVGO, new high TP, if you're in that. Watch out for these swipe downs on S&Ps, right? We're a little bit below VWAP, but we didn't really break any structure. Again, we were talking about that with the other person who's asking about break of structure breakdown. NASDAQ at yesterday's high. Damn, a 1340 is the all-time high. That's a 25 delta, 22 delta. That's kind of crazy. Let's see. If we would live in a universe where Netflix is back above 1300, and I would do a 10 wide spread here. So this is risking 3. I might be able to work on this. I might be able to get a better deal on this. That'll be a spread. But I need more time on that. But I'm leaning more bullish. All right, folks. I'll put that here. I'm probably going to be doing something like this, a bot call. Oh, come on. Bot call anchor, do a debit spread. Sold call offset. Now on these, I could do maybe tomorrow's expiration because I'm doing a spread. I'm not buying and buying. I'm not buying a call and buying a put. This is a bull call debit spread. All right. So, I could maybe set something up like this where I could do maybe like a 1300, maybe like a 13 by 1315, right? It's a 15 wide spread, 10 wide spread. And if Netflix came out of its chill mode here, Netflix and chill came out of its chill mode here off this pullback and gaps up, I'm within the 7% implied vol range here. If we lived in a world tomorrow where Netflix gapped up into above the 1320, which is my offset, I'd be in what's called a max gain here on this debit spread. That would be bullish. All right, but we need to gap up. Now, what that looks like if I did a 13 by a 20, let me see what that just looks like here. And I'd almost walk tomorrow's expiration date because I would want these to expire in the money so I can get what's called, so I can just collect my max gain. So a 13 by a 20 looks like this. That might be a little bit too hefty in terms of risk because I would have to be okay with losing this total premium 6 points, because what if we gap down tomorrow? Okay, this debit spread would just be complete zilch, not up zero. All right, hold on. Let me see spots. What's my spots? Spot. I still got these 25s on. And the 26s here. So that might be too hefty. Let's see if I do a, because I'll be risking 6 if we were to get above 13.20 by tomorrow. It's not bad. It's like a 2-to-1, risking 6.23 per contract to make 13.77. I'd like my risk reward ratio to be a little bit better than that, especially around earnings. So I'd have to work on this, right? Figure out the risk and reward on this bad boy. If I did a 13.10 by 15, that's not bad. If I do a 13, that's a 5 wide. I thought that was a 10 wide. It's not. I thought that was a 10 wide. Nah. It's a 3-to-1, not bad. 288 per contract risk. Only asking Tesla, Netflix to get up to 20, 13.20s, which is right there within the range here. Now, if you're bearish, you can do the same thing here. You can buy. This would be bullish. I'll put this green. Y'all got me prepping some earnings for the tube. Okay. This is a bot straddle. Where you buy me at the money call and put. At the money call and buying the at the money put. All right. This is a bull call. What was I? What did I lean again? What one was pretty decent? I'm doing this extremely fast, so I got to cross my T's and dot my I's. I'm just giving you some food for thought here. I'm going to probably land on these debits here, but I got to figure out exactly what. This one's halfway decent. Somebody even said decent. So talking like me, decent here. Risking 288. That to make 720. That's about almost a 3-to-1, give or take. A little bit less than that. 2 point. That's not bad. Maybe do a little bit better on something like that. I don't want to get too far deep out of the money above. But just for while I'm here, the 13.10. Oops, on the 20. That's a 10 wide. Let me put that on the chart here. This is a 13.10 by 20. So just move this one. Hold on, I got to reduce some exposure on this SPY. on this SPY. 625. Let me lock in a little bit more there. All right, just reducing a little exposure here on SPYs. It's developing, not quite mature yet, but could be almost like a 1, 2, 3 go. 30-minute bar SPYs here. Could be a bit of a 1, 2, 3 go here. Not developed. Kind of decent impulse bar. Small body range, holding the kind of upper third range here. This close positive CG, we could get a 1, 2, 3 go. It's trying. VIX on lows would mean smooth waters for a pop. Advanced decline's not screaming, but holding its kind of morning pump vibe. Yeah, Lizmo, SPY's still good. Indeed, brother. Indeed. As always, it might not fall through. We'll see though. It's setting up. It's doing its thing. AVGO new high, Microsoft pending new high, Tesla waking back up there. TP some Tesla. Cold pop on Trump WAP. Trump WAP. What the heck is going on here? Wow, weird today, all over the place. All right, Netflix bull call debit. Out of the money bull call debit here. Well, what if you're bearish? Well, you can do this too. You can do what's called a bear call debit, where you can say, okay, I'll pick up, say, I'll compare apples to apples, oranges to oranges here. So this is how many points away from current price, for example, 55. Just compare apples to apples, oranges to oranges, and what this would look like on the other side. It doesn't mean that I'm going to do this right here on this. Just to get the comparison, this could be a potential what's called bought put anchor. Which would be bearish, because at Phantoms, especially around earnings, I give you the bullish case and the bearish case, and you can choose, because it's kind of a coin flip. I don't like to trade coin flips. I don't associate trading with gambling at all. It's edge-based, probability-based analysis, right? People treat it as gambling and they don't care, but that's not the way to do it. The right way, you'd be fired on Wall Street, where I'm from. But earnings are one of those things where it's like it could do anything, right? So you can even put both of these on as well. I mean, you potentially and do kind of like a bot. This is like a bot debit here, bot debit here. It's kind of like a bot strangle. But you're buying the wings on the other side to just reduce the risk. Probably speaking a different language to most folks. But this would be the bot anchor. Okay. And then if I did a 10 wide here, right? If I were to do the equivalent 10 wide lower, it would look something like this, because this would be the offset. Which would make this 1190. And this is going to be the sold put offset. SPYs just popped a little bit there. Not a new high for the day. Q's popped new high. NASI. It's still going to be bearish, but this is going to be the reduce a risk leg. Let me TP. Well, let's see if we can try to get a new high on the SPYs here. I already just unloaded some of these, so let's see if we can rock these out here. I still got the 626s here. They're floating down a little bit there, so we need a pop on SPYs on that. I like Netflix bar. So this is an out of the money bear call debit, excuse me. But these are banking on that you kind of need a big move lower. So again, I want to keep the risk. And I kind of want to set up like a 3-to-1 R ratio on these, right? Out of the money bear put debit. Bear put debit. All right, and what I want to do is set up kind of like a 3 to. I gotta tweak the numbers. I want to set up a 3-to-1 reward to risk ratio. All right, so Netflix typically, kind of quiet, kind of like the quiet before the storm type deal. And so you can probably work on this all day, right? So figure out kind of like what you want to do. You could be bullish, you could be bearish. Okay, I'm leaning a little more bullish, just because of the setup that we're in, and Netflix is just still a monster at the moment. All right, but I could be wrong. So if you're bearish, you could set up some bearish plays. Just make sure you're comfortable with the risk. Whatever you do with earnings, make sure you're comfortable parting ways with that money. All right. So if I were to take this one just like for an example, I have to be okay losing $285 per contract. Like I have to go into tonight assuming that this will go to zero tomorrow, and I have to be okay with that risk. Otherwise, I'm not. Otherwise, you can't take it. Microsoft new high, AVGO new high, TP. Literally the easiest trade on the planet. And I'm not in it. Fire me now, Wall Street. I deserve it. Not even an ad or the entry on VWAP. Microsoft hit it. NASDAQ approaching the all-time highs should not surprise any of the Phantoms numbers one bit. New high. So what are we going to do in SPYs, y'all? Microsoft. What are we gonna do in SPYs? Everything here. Already had a TP limit in here. We got TP some, right? So hit it, hit it, hit it, hit it, hit it. All right. So we're selling up here, but we're selling to do what, folks? We are selling, but we're selling to take profit. Does that make sense? Anybody who's trying to buy right now, are they paying us our monies? Anybody who's trying to buy right now, I just sold because we just made a new high. Buy low, sell high, right? So who is buying new highs right now? Professional traders or retail traders? I am selling to whoever is buying a new high breakout, all-time high. Could go higher. I'll sell more, right? But I'm not looking to buy to enter on these highs on products. Microsoft TP, AVGO TP, NVIDIA TP if you're in. All right. All right. Does that make sense? Everybody's brokerage platform just dinged out new 52-week highs, new 52-week highs, and this, in these tickers, right? Some of these tickers, right? Like whoever's trying to buy now up here is late, especially maybe in Qs. It's literally at an all-time high, right now. So, anyways, I digress. Trap short CL coming up. Yeah, I kind of planned that out. A little annoyed. I almost wish I like ignored that comment early this morning to get a little more prepped on some things. But it's I don't make excuses for anything. I control my own self. So if somebody asks me a question, I say, hey, I can answer that later. Let me go to my prep and all that. But easy trades today. Microsoft, AVGO, right? Even SPYs. I even mentioned this morning. It was probably like one of the easiest trades ever. Just opened up, based. Gamma node below, green gamma node below. Hammer bar, positive COG, get long. ICT, ew, gross. I can't even believe I just said that out of my mouth. I just threw up a little bit. On that note, I'm out. I'm Mr. Blue, as they call me. I'm with TradePhantoms.com. And if you like what you saw and you want to learn a little bit more, cool. If you hate what you saw, you never want to hear my voice ever again, that's cool as well. We got a trade room. We got traders that we train. If you are interested, hit up TradePhantoms.com. And today, being Thursday, July 17th, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 hours away. Name, email, you can click register. You get sent the link. You'll be hosted by either Mr. Green or Mr. Black, sometimes both of them. There's going to be about a 90-minute class, give or take. Here's the agenda. Y'all can read that. Myself, Mr. Green, Mr. Black all came from the professional side of things here. This is quite a long time. How markets really work, okay? We're selling when other people are buying. We're buying when other people are selling, right? Almost the opposite side of things. Professionals on the other side of the trade, right? So if you want to learn how to do it the right way, cool. This is your place. If you don't, then that's cool as well. I don't give a fuck. I don't care. I don't care. So all trading, short-term trading, long-term trading, wealth, stocks, futures, forex, options, even crypto these days. Okay, love me some Bitcoin. All right, man, I've been calling those highs all day, baby. Love me some Bitcoin. All right, small accounts, bigger accounts, no matter. Come one, come all. Multi-directional trading, up, down, sideways, even with options, via selling options. All right, folks, cool. Check it out if you like it. If not, that's cool as well. You can come visit, and if it's not your gym, all good, man. Move on with life. And if it is your thing, you think it's a good fit, you can come and check out the team and see if we can try to help you. If I'm alive, I'm still going to be here trading, ripping tape as I have been. This is what I do. I eat, sleep, and shit this. So Check it out. Other than that, I'll see some of y'all later. Some of my Phantoms. Good job, y'all. Good job. Phantoms members in here did better than myself today, which is awesome. Shout out to everybody who helped today with the patients and the VWAP tests and the entries and the exits. Teamwork makes the dream work, baby. There's no I in team. I'll see some of y'all later today. And the classes Thunder Thursdays. We got 2 later. So then God willing, tomorrow morning, Friday morning, let's rip some tape for the trade room. Finish up the week. Blue out. God bless. Take care.